It feels incredible today, and I don't know what it's like where you live. You might have been wearing sweaters for a month now, but here in North Florida, it's still been a little toasty at times. So it's in the 60s and in the 70s for the next couple of days. So loving the weather. Feels so good. So good. Anyway, the weather's not why I popped on here to talk to you. I actually was at the house starting to work on the podcast for this week. And sometimes when I start trying to make notes about what's in my heart and what I want to talk about, things feel a little jumbly, and I find that if I just run an errand and drive, that things kind of sort out. So that's what I'm doing, taking you along for the ride. But here is a question that's kind of popped up for me that I'm thinking about, because here we are in the season of fall, and I love talking about seasons and just what different seasons represent in our life. And so when we think of fall and the season of autumn, and we watch and witness the natural cycle of leaves changing, I'm looking around. I mean, even here in North Florida, even though people make a joke that we don't have the four seasons, there are still, you can look around and witness the change in the trees. And I mean, look, my front yard is like covered with things that have fallen off the tree, even in this slight temperature change that we've already experienced. So as I look around and I can see evidence of change, it's like, what's the point of that change? I mean, we watch and we see leaves fall off trees and they become bare. You know, lots of you live in places, I have as well, where you will spend the next few months as the leaves fall off, then staring at bare trees. But it doesn't stay there. The season's going to change. So the trees become bare and the flowers, things fall away and they appear dead in this next season. And there's a reason for that, because it's in this cycle that in the next season, we're going to see new life. So that's what I'm thinking about. It's like, what in our own life are we holding on to and not surrendering to the autumn season of our life, if that's where you find yourself, that's keeping us from future growth? I mean, right now in this moment, what is filling my heart and my mind and my body that is keeping me from receiving future growth, because I don't have the capacity to add anything else to my life? And it got me thinking of how I think we lie to ourselves. And that might sound a little weird, and I don't consider myself a liar, but I think we lie to ourselves sometimes, because we will declare and we will say that we want something and we desire something in our life, something different, a change. And we'll even complain about our lives that we don't have this certain thing that we desire or this change that we so long for. But it makes me wonder how much we really want it. How much are we really longing for this thing that we say we want and that we're unhappy because we don't have it? Because it makes me think of when I met my husband, Ron, and I fell in love with him. I mean, actually, from the first time I met him, I went back to my dorm room and I told my roommates I just met who I'm going to marry. There was just this instant connection that I'd never experienced. And it was like, this is my person. This is my person. And it's like, I wanted to be with him all of the time. Now, did I have a clear schedule to spend all this time with him? No. But you know what? I found the time. I made the time. I took time that I didn't have, that I should have been doing something else, because I longed to spend time with him. I longed to spend time with him. I wanted to be with him. And it's like all the other things kind of fell away in my life. The other things that I'd spent my time doing that seemed so important, that I loved and enjoyed and weren't bad things, but something that I longed and desired became more important to me. So that's why I'm thinking about, do we really desire and long for the things we say that we long and desire for? Because if we do, I'm thinking we might find the time, that we might make the time. We might open up our hearts and our hands and allow some of the things that are filling our lives and taking up space. And again, things that aren't bad and things that are necessary. I mean, it's necessary that we care for our families and that we spend time with work. So it's, and all the other things that are so beautiful and necessary in our life. But the problem and the issue is when all of the things that we add in on top of the things that are necessary that we need to be doing, we add in all this other stuff and we just continue to stay busy. And all of the things we're staying busy with aren't necessary and beautiful. I think that we can struggle with stopping and getting still. And so we keep ourselves in this constant state of motion and filling ourselves with all of the things. So even when we do have time to maybe clear out some space and make room for some of the things that we are saying we long for and desire in our life, instead of pursuing that and taking the time and leaning into those things, we scroll, we watch something. And obviously you're watching or listening to me right now, so I don't think that's bad. I do the same thing and I love it. I love listening and learning from somebody. We need each other and we learn from each other. I love that. I love that we can find community in so many different ways. And especially in the time we live in, it's beautiful that we can connect with people in other countries just by devices that most of us carry around with us all the time. That's beautiful. And I don't take that for granted. But here's the danger. Sometimes those voices that we are so filling our hearts and minds with, they become so loud and they take up so much space in our hearts and minds that they drown out, that we can't even hear that still small voice that's within us. And that voice is the most important life-giving voice for each of us. So I guess I just want to leave you with the question that's filling my heart and mind today. What is filling your heart and mind that is taking up space and affecting you from being open and having the capacity to receive what you say you desire and you long for in your life? Because it's available. Love you guys. Get outside if you can. Hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are, and we'll talk soon.